I know that I need help. I'm so sad. My best friend, this lap hat, my lover, my left hand. I just land at the bang, myself up by the range. I know I'm very strange.
Hello, Ruth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I want to start off right from the beginning. CALA. This is a new project for you, a new role for you. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So CALA is essentially an online platform that's really solving the production equation for emerging designers, celebrity, anybody who's interested in the fashion space. What it's doing is it's using a lot of the technology that you'd see in maybe like a Google Docs or any kind of like shared, collaborative work tool to bring people together and, more importantly, really connect them to the right production partners. When you log into CALA, you can upload your, or you put in your quantity, your price point, the time you want this product produced. We actually offer every service that you can imagine when producing clothes, and then your prices are added up for you in real time. So before you're even submitting or starting your project, you know how much things are going to cost. And then we've done the legwork, so we're connected to upwards of 80 different factories globally. We can do everything from a cowboy hat to a denim vest to a belt to a full-on ball gown. And what it's doing really is it's allowing the people with the creative voice to succeed. So it's not based on money, it's not based on your connections, it's really based on raw talent. You can start at any point of the design process. So really from a tech pack to a sketch to a mood board. There's a lot of different ways of commenting and communicating on the site. Mm-hmm. So a lot like a Facebook or an Instagram. So you can be working with members of your team all over the world. So a lot of the celebrities that we work with, they appreciate it because they're not necessarily Kanye West and trying to build a full team. So they can make a clothing line a lot more efficiently with a lot less team members. And then our designers like it because they can actually cut in line at factories. It allows them to have access to this world that is really, really inclusive and hard to break into. And then our factory partners really appreciate it because it's helping streamline their work. We also have terms set up within the software. So a designer using it, they don't need to pay back for 45 days where we're then paying our factories. So it also helps them, collect payments and help them ensure that the projects they're working on are worth their time.
Okay, cool. So say, for example, I am a designer in New York and I have an idea for a puffer jacket, mm-hmm. and I upload a design, like what's the amount of time, what is the lead time basically for that project?
Well, what we've seen is because everybody's communicating on one file, whereas the way it works now is your zipper person, your buttons, the person doing your tags, mm-hmm. the actual production is all separate, and this is all done through 70 billion emails. Now it's all stored in one place together. Okay. So we've been seeing things speed up tenfold. All right. So a designer can get a sample back depending on, if they have everything uploaded within like 5 to 7 days.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's really amazing. And also you can work on one design at a time. Mm-hmm. So you're not having to commit to full collections, which does help kind of, introduce this whole drop model. Mm-hmm. We have different partners that can do quantities of 4,000 to 10. It completely depends on what you're looking for.
And how does it get? Like, how would that sample be delivered to me?
There's a whole calendar aspect mm-hmm. to it, so you can see where it is in the production process, which helps you then coordinate maybe a launch event or understand your timing as a designer. Mm-hmm. And repeat that. If does the sample get mailed? Oh yeah, definitely. We are the ones connecting the dots. Okay. What I always say is we're kind of the Uber of production. Okay. The designers are the passengers, mm-hmm. and the drivers are our production partners. So we're really just connecting the dots. So you can still email or mail swatches For example, you could start with a garment that already exists and mail it directly to the factory and say, I want to copy this body, this silhouette. But what's great is in the factory, once they've created that sample, they can actually just take a photo and then upload it all into Studio. So everything's saved in one place.
That's pretty cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
And what's also great about it is it also saves all of your fabric choices that you've used in the past, any of your graphics. You're not uploading and downloading big files. It's all there. So every time you're designing, you can just pull from your own library that you've created and saved. Also, because everything's saved, let's say you get another reorder or Kylie Jenner wears your shirt and it sells out on your web store, one button you can reproduce, you know, without having to really start the whole design process over
all
again.
over again.
Yeah.
Just in terms of distribution, like say Kylie Jenner wears my shirt, does that get sent to my distribution center?
Yeah, we can handle shipping, distribution.
Okay.
We can do things like turn on Instagram shopping. We're really building a platform that's a one-stop shop for an emerging designer or designers in general to use. The other side to CALA is really CALA Consulting, and that's a business that I really head up and run and work with people on, you know, maybe the more PR marketing side to launching a brand.
Sounds awesome, Ruth.
It's
I love it.
really needed,
Yeah.
you know? It really is. The whole production business, producing clothes, is really archaic. It's not accessible. It's not easy to break into this. It's really hard to find factories. And yeah, it's about time that we change this as the whole industry and shift is changing.
Yeah, as it becomes more sort of
Less about seasons, more about items.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
more about the things that I see making the most money is merch and these collaborations. And these collaborations can happen anytime. So being able to have a tool that helps you design and make things more efficient actually helps the entire full calendar in general be able to shift.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are just simply intimidated by the whole manufacturing process.
It's really hard.
Yeah, finding people, talking to people.
It's really, really, really hard.
We are right now, Ruth, we're in a space called Next Century.
We are, yeah.
It's owned by the famous Century 21. Can you tell me how CALA became associated with Century 21?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the root of it, we both have the same agenda. We both want to shift and change the fashion industry as it is now. And we both really have our heart set on helping emerging designers and the next wave of fashion. So, you know, Next Century, really Century 21, Isaac Gindi, the owner, he approached me and he said, you know, what can we do with this space? How can we give back? How can we attract the next generation? And I was like, well, actually, I'm always trying to attract the next generation.
You are.
We're also trying to help the same consumer base, the same culture grow. So so we decided to open this CALA studio. So we have both floors. The first floor is primarily retail. This second floor is really dedicated to this kind of open studio. So we like to have young designers in here, creatives. This space is really their space. We do CALA demos, we do art installations, we have our green screen to capture content, and then everything's anchored with events. I believe retail really should be surrounded by smaller drops and reasons for people to actually come out and shop and spend and be a part of a community. I don't think throwing clothes on a rack anymore works. We also strategize and come up with a new way of buying for this store. So if it's an exclusive item just for this space, and we do one example would be like Telfar did a collaboration with Next Century.
I remember.
That we'll buy up front. But other than that, we take 20% off of the retail price. And that's actually a practice that you see in the music industry. If you're selling merch at a concert, the concert venue will take their 20%. But this allows our designers to walk away making a lot more money than if they were to just straight up wholesale. And wholesale is becoming really, really expensive because stores are having to compete with internet. So how do we kind of shift that model? So overall, this space is incredibly experimental. We pulled in Office Magazine. They're actually here with us. They run the coffee shop. They have the lounge, and they curate events for us every Thursday, our Summer Thursday parties.
Is that the party we came to?
No, that was our launch event.
Okay.
Yeah, that was our
a
big
very
launch
good
event.
party,
Well,
Ruth.
thank you. Yeah, CALA does the bigger events.
Okay.
And then Office comes in, and we've had everything from, you know, some of our favorite drag performers to we're having a punk rock band. We've had
cool.
jazz in here. we really kind of anything goes.
Okay.
Which is great.
Century 21 is very legendary.
Yeah, you know, I was doing my homework, and they're really one of the few retailers that are succeeding in this climate.
Yeah.
They're growing. And I think it is because we don't necessarily believe in seasons. It's more about the brand.
Right.
And, you know.
There is every single brand in there.
I mean,
everyone.
From
Dior,
Versace to Dior to Helmut Lang.
Off-White.
To Hood by Air. Like, we really have every single brand here.
No, it's eye-popping.
Yeah, and you know, we were just talking, but you know, I consider the Timberland the shoe of my generation, the Chuck Taylor. And why buy that original wheat shoe for $120 when you can get it here for $40?
Exactly.
And so next century with that, we'll bring in new merchandise, we'll launch collaborations, and it's really cool for emerging designer to be sold next to, you know, our Balenciagas, for example. It's great to have them sit next to a Helmut Lang on the rack. And for me, I just want to wear the brand. And so if I can get it for, you know, a discounted price, great. I can buy more. I can support more. So
yeah.
we don't really have rules here. It's very fluid. We're even doing a showroom out of the space and inviting other buyers and stores to come check it out. I just
out of the space?
Yeah, yeah, for Buffalo, London.
Okay.
Which is super cool.
Yes.
We've been bringing them to the United States from London. So yeah, it's really a fluid space, which I think is something that needs to happen more in the fashion industry.
Absolutely.
Less competitor and more kind of like family, let's do this together. And that's what we're kind of trying to champion.
All of that sounds really cool, Ruth.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's really fun too.
Yeah, no,
you know,
you're the perfect person for it, I would say. Which leads me to your history a little bit. You famously came to New York with $400 in your pocket.
I did.
Why'd you come? What drew you to New York? What was the?
You know, I went to the school, the Art Institute of Chicago. I graduated. I was doing kind of sound, art and tech. I felt a little bit lost. I went to Africa, actually. I went to Mali. I did a personal research project. I was studying magic and music over there. So I came back to the States after that.
Wait, do you believe in magic? Do you feel like...
At the time, I was creating artwork that was, you know, kind of conjuring magic and what that means. And what I was making felt a little bit weak or thin or not really real. So I wanted to kind of throw myself into a completely different world.
Yeah.
So I was actually studying the leaders of the animist sects and going to Dogon country and traveling all across the country, which was cool.
That sounds amazing.
But I came back to the States not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. So I just kind of moved to New York on a whim. I felt like half my friends either moved to LA, New York. My best friend was here. I said, you know what, let me just try it. I hopped on a train from Charleston, South Carolina, where I was, $400 to a job interview at Digital Fix.
Right.
With all my luggage and pretty much said, you're hiring me. Like, you don't have a choice.
Why? What was Digital Fix?
Digital Fix was a designer electronics store. So I'd had this electronics background. At that point, I was kind of a lot more into the music scene, necessarily than the fashion scene.
Okay.
My best friend is, you know, was part of that band Gatekeeper. He's ADR. He does some amazing music and produces for some of my favorite people to this day. Kalela, you name it. And so he was like working at the store, and he was like, come try it out. I went, I showed up, and then within, a couple of months I became manager and then really took over with David Auerbach, who was the owner at the time. We grew the store. We had one in Lower East Side. We had Williamsburg. We opened a pop-up in LA. We did a big flagship out in San Francisco. So really grew it. So focusing more on headphones and kind of the music side of thing, but very, very, very well curated. Think almost MoMA design store in this way, but a little bit younger focused and incredibly creative store. Yeah. So it was kind of this, it kind of comes full circle when I work with CALA, when I think about technology too.
So the first entry to New York was more music almost.
Really, yeah, it really was. I mean, I've always cared about style and clothes, and I express myself as an artist through how I dress. So that's been something that I've done ever since I was little. Especially my sister, I have a lot to champion her. She's really helped me out a lot.
Ruth, what's your sister's name?
My sister's Emily Gruca.
Hi, Emily.
Yeah, hi, Em.
Shout out to you.
Yes, definitely shout out to you. She's legend. You guys don't know who she is, but she is. is. And so she's always been the more kind of more traditional focused in the fashion space, you know, studying at fashion schools and that. But yeah, so I kind of entered the fashion world from a little bit of a left wing.
They are very connected, though, music and fashion.
They really are.
Have
it's all culture.
Yeah.
It's all blended together in one. I mean, clothes anchor it because we can't be naked. So, you know,
we're not allowed.
We're not allowed. So you have to wear clothes. They're our billboard. They're our way of expressing ourselves. I mean, I think about it when you're walking down the street and you're listening to music in your headphones. I have no idea what you're listening to, but you can wear something and I can identify, like, okay, I know who you are. I know what you're about, right? You know, so.